Back in November, before basketball season even started.
Letter of intent right there to become a Wolverine for life. Yeah!
Jude Stamper made a prediction.
Do you remember what your prediction was?
Yeah, that we go really far in March Madness.
At the time, it didn't seem reasonable.
Do you feel any pressure now that your newest Wolverine has such high expectations?
I love that he has those expectations, and we hope he's right. I know we're working every day to make sure he's right.
But 32 wins later, the most in school history, by the way.
And now look at us. We're playing for a Final Four here in Los Angeles.
Yeah.
It's a journey from the start.
Means a lot to you?
Oh yeah, a lot.
That seemed too good to be true.
Means a lot to us, too. It does.
But it's also one that has gotten sweeter as the season goes on.
So what happened when you were at Santa Monica? Did you get recognized a little bit?
Yes, there's a lot of fans that knew who I was.
What'd they say when they saw you?
They're just like, oh, hey, Jude, can we get like a picture or something like that? Yeah, it's awesome.
Jude can't get enough.
Did you ever think you'd be a celebrity?
No.
And his family,
it's incredible. It's a dream come true. Jude's loving it. We're loving it.
more than grateful.
All of the team's been incredible. All the boys have been incredible. It's been an experience of a lifetime.
But you see, maybe it's not Jude that's on the receiving end of this all.
I hope no one ever estimates how much Jude has meant to this team.
Maybe it's the guys.
What kind of impact has that kid had on this team?
Perspective. Absolute perspective.
Because his team can't picture those 32 wins without him.
I can't think of being more blessed than having him in our lives.
So from November
It's just an honor
to March,
I get to be part of Michigan, and that's like my favorite thing.
and from the first round to the Final Four.
For him being able to say that he's a part of a Final Four team and we brought him in the locker room is it's just amazing.
Jude is relishing in the maize and blue.
Michigan goes to San Antonio for the Final Four. Will we be seeing Jude there?
Yes, you will. Go Blue!
If you're out at Dow Diamond in Midland, head to section 103, row 7, seat 20.
Oh, you almost went.
And there you'll find Bob Thompson.
Oh, now he's here. I missed 2 games in 7 years. I hardly missed a game.
You heard that right. He has missed only 2 Loons home games in 7 years. He leaves his house in Bridgeport at 4 o'clock to be in his seat promptly by 5.
You gonna sit down?
Yeah. That's 2 hours before first pitch.
I loved baseball ever since I was a kid. I loved baseball.
Bob is 81. He was born in 1936. Growing up, he played third base.
I could run fast. I can't no more.
Then playing. And now spectating.
I think it's in my blood now. I think it's in my blood.
But he comes for more than just watching the game.
I just go up. I go up under there. I go walk all the way around.
He collects baseballs.
Pick them up as they hit them.
A lot of baseballs.
I'd say close to 350. What am I going to do with all these baseballs? I said, well, I'm going to give them to the kids.
Bob finds foul balls or ones hit out of the park. He gets them signed by the Loons and their mascots.
Here's your ball.
Then he gives them away to kids at Dow Diamond.
Yeah, it makes me feel good. A lot better.
Bob has given away more than 250 signed baseballs to Loons fans.
This one I look fat. I can't help it. I ain't got that no more. I walk around there 3 times. All the way around the building 3 times. It's 1 mile.
To get your exercise in.
Get my exercise.
Work off them hot dogs?
Huh?
Work off them hot dogs?
Yeah, I'll work it off hot dogs.
So Bob took me on his route where he works off those hot dogs.
Yeah, I just stand down there by that sign. I just stand by that sign down there, and that's where I get them from. But you got to watch the traffic.
Out to his car, where he keeps some of his baseballs in the same spot he's parked in for 5 seasons. So Bob gives them away because it's rewarding, but it's also a chance for him to remember. Bob told me he started collecting baseballs when his wife passed away.
Yeah, I think that had a lot to do with it.
Bob said she loved the game. So every night at Dow Diamond, you'll see Bob walk into the park.
She's with me, Nick. She's following me. She's following me.
He'll collect and give away a baseball.
Thank you.
That's what I do.
Remember the love of his life.
My wife's name was Lois, and I always called her Louie.
and show his love for the game.
Safe. Oh, no.
Welcome to Sports This Morning. I'm Gina Trotman reporting from San Antonio, Texas, the site of the national championship where Michigan is set to face Villanova tonight. Now, we've been following this team from California to Texas, which means we've been seeing a lot of these guys' personalities. Two of them who stand out is freshman Jordan Poole and Isaiah Livers. We decided to play a little game, sort of a spin-off of the Newlywed Game. It was some pretty funny stuff. Check it out. Are you guys best friends?
I feel like we're brothers. I definitely feel like we're brothers.
Aren't you roommates as well?
We're definitely roommates.
Okay. So that might go into this next one. Who's messier?
I'll take the messy one. Hey, man, it's not like by far. It's just he cleans a lot.
Who's on time more?
Put that high. If it wasn't for me, he'd be late to a lot of stuff.
The only reason is because I nap all the time and I'm relying on him to wake me up to go to places. So he just got my back on that one.
Who eats more at pregame meal?
Definitely me. I eat a lot more than this guy.
Crazy appetite?
You see how thick this guy is? Like, he definitely eats way more.
This one might cause some controversy. Who is the bigger ladies' man?
That's not really fair.
Only because he has a girlfriend, though.
Okay.
He's been with his girl for like 5 years, so they're practically married, but I just don't have a girlfriend.
Who is Coach Beeline's favorite?
I don't know. I think it's kind of, we're going to put them like...
Yeah, I'll put them together.
Same.
He starts, but I get mad love, so that's kind of how it goes. That's what happens.
Yell at more, but I get corrected more. So.
Awesome. Thank you guys so much. Good luck in the national championship game.
Thank you.
Tonight's path to greatness takes us to the Dow Chargers junior varsity girls tennis team. Her name, Ruth Pasick, and it's more than just a spot on the roster. It's proof you never truly have any idea of just what a person has gone through or what that roster spot might mean to them.
She figure skated, she downhill skied, she did the volleyball, lacrosse, basketball. She was an athlete.
That was Ruth Pasick before the autumn of 2013, but not anymore.
Why was she falling?
A question the Pasick family continually asked after Ruth suffered 5 concussions in just 3.5 years. Some during sports, some not, but all simply from losing her balance. One concussion diagnosed as a traumatic brain injury.
During the basketball game, I remember it happened, and the whole team was just in shambles. We were all crying.
They, in essence, stopped the game. They canceled the game. They sent both teams home, and she got sent off on a backboard and a neck brace in an ambulance to the hospital. And she didn't recognize or know who we were.
Ruth had always been an athlete, never considered a clumsy person, but for some reason, the accidents just kept finding her.
When they don't recognize who you are, you know something significant is going on, and that happened more than once.
After years of unanswered questions from doctors, the Pasick family finally got in touch with the Mayo Clinic, where they found out the real reasoning behind Ruth's falls, and therefore, all of her concussions.
Crystals that drop tend to happen in elderly people or older people. They don't usually drop in teenagers.
It happened in her very first concussion, but she was never checked for a condition called BPPV. It's when a blow to the head causes crystals in your inner ear to become dislodged, which in turn causes dizziness, distorted balance, and vertigo, which would explain what the Pasicks always thought were accidents.
If that had been checked in the very beginning, she might have been able to play then all of the sports that she loved. But every time there was a movement that went too quickly, that crystal wreaked havoc on her balance.
Anger, frustration, confusion, all things the Pasicks felt.
Could there be a balance problem? Instead of saying, no, that it can't be that, it really was that.
Especially Ruth.
I don't remember specific things, but I remember feeling really lonely and feeling like I was never going to get better.
Ruth says she feels like she lost years of her life.
Every single thing that's happened to me in the last 4 years is just based on what everyone else tells me.
Years of no memories, years of isolation.
The scariest thing for me is not really knowing what's memory and what's not.
Years of darkness.
I just felt like I didn't really have a a purpose, or like I wasn't passionate anymore, and I just kind of like lost sight of who I was.
One thing she didn't lose though, her sense of resiliency.
I just have to move on, and if I keep lingering on, then I'm just gonna lose even more of my life.
With help from the Mayo Clinic, what the Paseks call a blessing, Ruth started rehab on her brain. Through her commitment to getting better, Ruth is getting her life back. After practicing rehab daily, Ruth has been cleared for non-contact activities, bringing back one of her favorite sports, skiing.
And it was so exciting to see her go down the hill again.
And even introducing her to a new sport, tennis.
She took to it like a fish in water. And I was elated.
It's Ruth's strength and positivity that has gotten her back on the court.
She'd be like in one of her darkest moments and just be like, you know, I think this is part of like the plan.
Even after sports were taken away from her.
And just like her being able to say something like that is just so mind-blowing to me.
Because through each fall,
maybe it's to have her have more strength for the future. It's been a long journey.
Strength and positivity is all the Pasek family really had left.
Don't take things for granted, the small things for granted, like walking and running.
And it's what puts Ruth Pasek.
It's still a journey, and she's still growing from it and learning from it.
On the path to greatness.
It's part of life, right?
For Jim Slater, it was always hockey.
Rollerblade hockey, that was right down there in the cul-de-sac.
And it was right here at his childhood home in Lapeer.
And the rule was if you cried, you couldn't play. So Jim found and determined. One time he came home and he sat down there and he was just, he says, I can't cry. I can't cry because I can't play.
Where his hockey journey began.
When he got done, he went back over there, but no, you couldn't cry. You did not cry.
That journey brought him to Michigan State.
It's the MVP.
And eventually do 10 years in the NHL. While his parents are in Lapeer, he is not. To interview Jim, I had to FaceTime with him from our studios right here in Flint, all the way to Fribourg, Switzerland, where he plays professionally in the Swiss National League.
You know, I can only, be home certain amounts of time, and my wife and my little girl, they stay back in Michigan.
It was then, at the age of 35, after a pro career that started back in 2005, that journey finally met its peak.
We knew it was a good possibility, but you just never know till they make that call.
I got the phone call from USA on December 26th in the morning.
And he had his daughter Wynn break the news.
Actually, his daughter said I couldn't quite understand it.
She called my mom and dad, her grandma and grandpa, and just said my daddy's going to be an Olympian.
We were like, what?
Took it 5 times to where they actually found out what she was saying.
I think she had to say it 3 or 4 times, and we're like, what?
Those are the words that she won't remember, but we'll remember for the rest of our lives.
We're so happy for him. We have to go get our little American flags to take in the stands with us, but I think it'll really hit us probably when we actually get there.
And just like that, the journey that started in this cul-de-sac brings the Slater family to the 2018 Winter Olympics.
When you get to my age, you don't really, feel like you have a chance at the Olympic team, and to be 35 and being able to represent your country in the Olympic Games is something that's just incredible.
It's a journey that couldn't have been done without the support of his family.
To be able to share with my family, the people that were true and got me to where I needed to be.
The payoff was every week.
Yeah.
It wasn't like, where's that final goal? It was like, enjoy what you're doing at the time.
Yep.
So that was really what it was all about.
And he had a fire in the belly.
A fire that takes him from Lapeer, Michigan to Pyeongchang, South Korea.
Just to make the Olympics is great, but to bring home a gold medal or any medal would be the icing on the cake.
It may be another stop on the journey, another rink, another team, but to the Slater family, it means so much more.
It's just one of those things in your life that you'll always have, you always remember, and something that's very special to me.
There are 2 things when you're growing up as a kid. You want to win the Stanley Cup or you want to be in the Olympics. 1 out of 2 is not bad.